Hello all. Today we shall read a copper plate inscription. A copper plate inscription is known as a Tamra Shasanam in Sanskrit. Before reading on into the inscription, I'd like I'd request all of you to please do like, share, and subscribe to my channel and also make it an interactive one by pointing out my mistakes and by bringing forth your views and suggestions in the comment section. Getting into the inscription, this inscription is in an early form of Telugu script. The copper plates were a set of three plates, and each of them was inscribed on both the sides of the plate. And this is the first side of the plate. And the rest of the inscriptions we shall read in the upcoming videos. It starts with a symbol which I do not very well know what it is. And then we have a swa over here. It is a swa, an early form of a Telugu swa. It is something like this. So the va over here is more similar to the Kannada va than to a standard Telugu va, to a modern printed Telugu va. Swasti, then it says swasti. Typically, an inscription starts with a swasti. Most of the inscriptions do start with a swasti or a avignamastu or swasti shri or a swasti rastu. And even if something is not really legible, we can make out that okay, it is a swasti. And it also gives us a uh, we can test the waters of how the script might be for the in the entire inscription after that. So this the orthography of the swasti over here tells us how much of a difference between the modern Telugu and this the Telugu of this inscription will be. Then it says sa. Once again, this is a sa, and we have a ma. Then a samasta. So this the tavuttu is typically given like this in modern Telugu, but we should see it is quite different over here. How do I conclude that this is a samasta is because a very similar tavuttu is given over here. Or a tavuttu is a conjunct form of ta, which is used in sanyuktaksharas in Telugu. It is a unique feature of Telugu, the Kannada lipi, the Telugu lipi, to a certain degrees the Odia lipi, and even to the now extinct the Grantha lipi. So this is a Sanyuktakshara Swasti, Samasta. Then we have a Bhuvana. This is more of a Bhuvana, but we are safe to assume that it is a Bhuvana uh, because Bhuvana means earth. So Swasti means may auspiciousness prevail. Samasta Bhuvana is the entire earth. Then it says Samasta Bhuvana. Then we have a V over here. Then it could either be a sha or a kha, and we have a yavotu, sha or a kya. Then we have a ta over here. We should observe the ta over here. The ta is quite different from the standard ta. A standard ta is typically written as such, but we observe that this ta is written as such, which is an early form of the ta. So Vishyata doesn't really make sense. Vikhyata makes sense. So Vikhyata is fame. So Samasta Bhuvana Vikhyata, that is famous all over the world. Then it says pa. We have a pa over here. Anuswaram pan. Then we have a cha. So we should observe this cha over here. The early forms of cha. Even in one of the previous inscriptions, we had seen a cha over here, which cha was something like this, often which is quite different from sorry, which is quite different from the modern Telugu cha, which orthographically looks something like this. Pancha, then once again, this is a sha over here, pancha shata. So this sha, if we remember, we had in one of our previous stone inscriptions to it, the link to which is on the description box. So this sha did occur in one of our previous stone inscriptions. So panchasha, then once again we panchashata. Then I'm sorry, but this is not very much legible for me. I do not really understand this particular part, so I'll leave it out. And anyone who can, I'd rather not highlight this part. And I'd request the viewers over here to let me know what really do they make out of this particular part over it. This is the inscription which I'm not able to read. I'd request the viewers over here to write down their own decipherment or whatever they decipher out of this particular inscription in the comment section. Then it says, uh, we have one again sa and a na. Okay, now that I when I it says a sa and a na, so I'm once again able to read over here. So it says a sha, so it's a shasana. This part is a sha. So now I have effectively what I have done is I have reduced the work of my readers over here, and it would rather be only these two symbols. What is written over here is what I'd be interested to read. So it's a shasanam. Shasanam is a proclamation. Shasana labdham. Labdham. Here there is an anuswara, ba and a da, samyuktakshara. It is a da over here, but it should be dha. So we see that there are lots of Sanskritic spelling mistakes over here, and it appears that the person who has inscribed is not a very well educated person or has an akshara jnanam, that is he is able to read and write, but he does not have the required shabda jnanam, or is not really proficient in nirukta, that is the spellings of the Sanskrit words. So it says labdham, shasana labdham. Then we have a na over here, and we should observe the small diacritic over here, which indicates that it is a ne. Ne. Then there is a ka. This ka is once again an early form of Telugu ka, which is fairly preserved in the Kannada lipi. So this is how an early form of the Telugu and Kannada ka used to be. So the Kannada ka is fairly similar. We now have a vertical pole in between over here. So ka, neka, guna. This is a gu and a na, gana. So now this nakaram, we should not get confused with a no. So a modern no would be written like this, and a traditional la, an early form of the na, is something written like this, and the modern na is written something like this. So it is an early form of na which we should be very cognizant of. Guna gana. Guna is a characteristic. Gana means a group of characters. So what it says is the first line, what it reads is Swasti Samasta Bhuvana Vikhyata. I'd leave out these two words. Sorry, Panchashata, then we would leave out these two words over here. Shasana Labdham Aneka Guna Gana. So over here it should be, once again we should understand the spelling mistake over here. It is Maneka Guna Gana. It's not Labdham Neka Guna Gana. So Labdham Aneka Guna Gana. Many. So with this Shasanam, Samasta Bhuvana Vikhyata Panchashata, we do not have these two words, these two decipherment of these two letters. Hence, we are not able to entirely read out this Shasanam as is, but we are able to make out that it says that in this entire world, there is for some fame, this Shasana, through this Shasana, Aneka Gunaganas, a lot of characteristics have been procured. Labdham, Labdva. Then it says, okay, this is a there is an anuswaram, okay, and this is a lakaram, la over here, lam over here, an anuswaram, lang. Then we have a ka and an ikaram over here. We should observe the ikaram, which is a very unique ikaram in an early form of Telugu, and we have a Ravuttu. Ra typically, even till recent in modern Telugu, after perhaps since 2000s, only this form of Ravuttu is largely popular, but there are other forms of Ravuttu which are written something like this. Another form is like this. Yet another form which we see like this and like this. Even in printed texts, till 1990s, we observe all these rakaras, but unfortunately, all these have been removed in the name of simplification in modern Telugu, or in the most recent versions of Telugu since 2000s. Lankrita, then we have a ta over here, Lankrita, Gunagana, then Gunaganalankrita. So, Alankrita, alankaram is ornamented. So with different gunaganas, this has been the shasana is ornamented with different gunaganas. Alankrita, then it says a sa, then a ta over here, sat, then a yavuttu over here, satya, satya, then sa over here. We have something over here which looks like a o. Okay, if we see over here, this is an early form of o over here. So then we have a cha, satya socha. It might be a once again a spelling mistake from a Sanskritic perspective. It might be a shaucha, satya shaucha. Then it says a cha, then a rukaram, ru, charu, a ru. So charu, it is written as charu, but it might be a charu. Charu means sweet. And once again in Sanskrit, cha. Then once again we have a cha. We should identify the different orthographies of cha. The cha over here is quite different from the cha over here, which is quite different from the cha over here and the cha. So in the first two line itself, we have four chas with four different orthographies. So reading out these inscriptions, while reading out these inscriptions, we should be cognizant of the handwriting of that particular person. So cha, then we have a re over here, charitra, charu charitra. So of a sweet character, of a good character. Charu charitra is of a good and appeasing character. Then it says na, we have a na over here. Uh, yeah, it could even be a sa due to this particular gap over here. We would be able to more approximately determine with the next thing. It says as yeah, then it there is a v over here. We should read this as a v. Then na and yeah, naya vinaya. Uh, it obviously is not saya vinaya. It is a naya vinaya. There is no word as a saya vinaya. It is a naya vinaya. Naya vinaya. Then vinaya once again is hmm, uh, sweet and appealing. That's what I would translate it as. Naya Vinaya. Then it says Vipula, V, then a Pu. This is a Pa over here. V and a U with U Ukaram. Gudi. In Telugu, it's called, sorry, not a Gudi, a Kommo is called a Kommo in Telugu. Vipula. Then it says a V. Ja, there is a ja over here. This jakaram is quite different from the modern Telugu ja. A typical modern Telugu ja is written as such, but the ja over here is written as such. This ja resembles more of a, Kannada anga, kakagaga anga, that anga. And then we have a ya over here, e and a ya. So jna, vijnana, it should be a vijnana. Vijnana means sciences, sciences. Then it says Veera. Then ba, we have a ba over here. It is it. We'll come back to this particular symbol. I'm not very sure of what this symbol really means. We'll come back to this particular symbol. So Veera. Then it says ba. Then we have a ja over here. Ja, ga, jaga, vim. Once again, we have a Veera, Veera uh, Balot, low. This is a low over here. Balotsaha, Balotsaha. It's a dirgham is there over here. Balotsaha, Samaya, Dharma. Says sorry, Dhamma. Dhamma is the Pali word or a Prakrit word and a corruption of the word Dharma. So in Sanskrit, we would be reading it as a dharma, but in a corrupted form, it is dhamma. Over here, it is written as a dhamma, and there is no harm in reading it as a dharma. Dharma means a law. Uh, Dharmam in modern words, often it is translated as religion, but in traditionally we do never translate dharmam as a religion, but it is a law or or a rule or a responsibility or duties. All such words are attributed to are the translations of dharma. A religion is typically the word used for religion is matam. So over here it is dharma. Then it says over here a pra, prati, pratipala, pratipalaka, vi, visuddha, ga, garuda, garuda. Once again, it's vavatu over here. We should observe the vavatu. This reminds me of the Balinese va more than the Telugu va over here. Garuda Dvaja. The flowing character of these of Telugu in these inscriptions is what really mesmerizes me rather than the modern Telugu. Modern Telugu, especially the printed Telugu, has lost the flowing characterness and the flowery characterness and of the romantic character of the inscriptions, of the script per se. But when we read these inscriptions, the flowing, flowery, romantic character is what really uh, makes Telugu stand out of other inscriptions, I should say. Dhwaja, Garuda Dhwaja, then it says Dhwaja, then we have a Raja, Mana, Ga. We have a Gu over here and a Raja, Mana, Gmuna. Uh, then we have a then we have a so. Okay, this is a tu, tunga. We should see a tunga over here, a ga and a gautu, an early form of Telugu spelling. So typically, when we have a sanyuktakshara, most of the ending word is typically geminated. Unfortunately, once again, this feature has been lost in modern Telugu. Even in Sanskrit, the modern Sanskrit textbooks which are coming do not have these geminations. For example, the word kartari would be there would be a geminated ta in the word kartari, but the modern printed textbooks typically remove that gemination of that ta. Uh, Tunga, then we have ki, ki, then we have a kitya. Oh, okay. Kitya, and we should observe the small uh, symbol over here. This is a rapalam or a repa. In modern Telugu, this is how it should be written. So even this has been preserved in Kannada, but in Telugu this has been removed since the 1990s. Till then, this was prevalent even in Telugu. So it says Kirtya. So when the Ra comes in between, before the syllable, then it should be. This is how it is written. So it is called a Gilapka, Valapala Gilaka in Telugu. Kirtyanga. Then there is an anuswaram. Kirtyangana. Lingita, Kirtyangana Lingita. It should be a Dirghakaram over here. Kirtyangana Lingita, Lingita. Then it says Nija, Nija. Then we have a Ba over here, Bhuja. Uh, Bhuja, it should be Bhuja. Bhuja is arms. Nija Bhuja, of his own arms. Nija Bhuja. Vijaya. Over here there is a Ja, Bhuja. Bhuja, Vijaya. Then it says Vrikochita, 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 Veera, Veera, Lak, Lakka. Oh, okay, it is a Laksha, Veera, Lakshami, Lakshami, Ni, Niva, Nivasa, Vaksha. We have Aksha over here, Vaksha. Lakshmi Nivasa. Okay, once again, this we should identify it is Veera Lakshmi, whereas it should be Lakshmi. Kshma. So instead of Kshma, it has been written as a Ksha. I'm sorry. In modern Telugu, this would typically be written like this. Unfortunately, this is an older Orthography of ka, sorry. In modern Telugu, this is how it would be written. Yeah. This is how ideally the spelling should be, but here what it has been written is kshama. So the kshami. So the kra has been independently written, whereas ma has been written over here. This once again points out that the person who has been inscribing this particular inscription is not very well educated, or by the way or the pattern what I see in this particular inscription is his Sanskrit spellings are wrong, but the Telugu spellings are fairly proper. So I should say that he is not educate much of his. He is a person who does not belong to the Brahmin or a scholarly community, rather than he belongs to some community which doesn't really bother about the sanctity of spellings as such. So what I would interpret from this particular inscription is that the person who has inscribed this is is not really a Brahmana, which typically goes against the standard rhetoric or the Macaulayan rhetoric, what we are taught that only the Brahmins were allowed to read and write. But reading this inscription as such very well gives out the impression that this is not a Brahmin who has written it. No. Lakshmi Nivasa, then it says Vakshastha. Once again, it is a sta is what has been written. It should be stha, Vakshastha, stha, thakaram. It's a sta which is written over here. Vakshastha. Then it says we have a sa over here and a ta over here and an e over here. So sti. Then we have a ba. If I just highlight it for the benefit of everyone, ba, and we have an u over here. Then a va, bu, va, na. Then it says na. Bhuvana. It should be a bha over here. Bhuvana. Once again, a spelling mistake. Instead of bhuvana, a bhuvana has been written, and it is sti. It would be safe to assume that it is stribhuvanam. So in this case, it is a sanyuktaksharam stribhuvana from visarga. The sa is due to a visarga of the perhaps out of the previous word. So in this case, it is a vakshastha. So it should be a stha. If we assume that this is a stha, then we can safely assume that what we have lost over here might be a la. So in this case, vakshasthalah, then tribhuvana becomes vakshasthalas tribhuvana. Veera, sorry, it is the pa over here, not a v. It is a pa over here. Parakra, this is a kra. Parakramana, parakramana. Then taru. Then it says a tarum shri parak bhuvana. So what this line reads is this entire sentence reads over here is uh, we would read from here sahasotunga kirtyanganalingita nija bhuja vijaya vrikochita lakshmi nivas vakshasthalas parakrama parakramajan parakramana tarum shri. So what it says is like due to the valor, sahasotunga. That's how uh, the tunga is sahasotunga, the overwhelming valor, the overwhelming valor and fame. Kirtyanganalingita, The person is famous due to his overwhelming valor. Nija bhuja vijaya vrikochita. That is with his own nija bhuja, his own bhuja, his shoulders, his own arm strength, the strength of his arms that is such that he has always been vijaya, victorious, vrikochita, like a wolf, Veera Lakshmi Nivasa, and in him Lakshmi, Veera Lakshmi resides in him. That is, it's not Dhana Lakshmi, it is Veera Lakshmi, that is the Lakshmi of strength, the prosperity of strength resides in Vakshasthala, in his chest. Vakshasthalam is chest, in his the uh, prosperity of strength resides in his chest. Vakshasthalas Tribhuvana Parakrama, and with in and he's the most valorous person in this entire three worlds. Parakraman Anantarum. Anantarum. It is in the Anantarum is infinite. His parakramam is infinite. His strength, his valor is infinite over here. Then it says Shri. It ends with a nice Shri over here. This Shri once again is quite different from the previous stone inscriptions, whatever we had read. If people remember, the previous stone inscriptions had a Shri something like this, whereas this Shri is uh, something like this. E and then a sha and a re over here. So this is how it is written. So the evolution of Sri, the word Sri is in itself is quite mesmerizing when we read a numerous inscription over here. What we have not been able to read in this particular inscription are two things which I leave out as a homework for people, for my viewers, or perhaps people can let me know what these should be, how these should be read as. One is over here, these two symbols is what I could not really read, and I'd really love to understand what people think these two symbols might mean. And another one is over here, this symbol. This symbol is quite unique, which I have not been able to read, and I could not really figure out from the various evolutionary stages of Telugu which are currently available. I could not really figure out what this thing means, this orthography means. I would love to uh, read this particular orthography, and I'd love my viewers to put their views in the comment section as to what these two orthographies or what these three graphemes over here in this particular inscription mean. If you like this particular video, please do click on the like button over there, and please do subscribe to my channel, and please do express your views in the comment section. Have a wonderful day ahead.